the HR data that we use is more of the descriptive, or call it very high level, kind of age, tenure, internal mobility. How often do you move to different roles? How often does your manager is replaced? Vacation days
Who your
utilized.
manager is. What about who your manager is? Because that could always, again, that gets tricky on the big brother thing, but knowing
Exactly,
trends of
exactly,
like how many
exactly.
people left the same manager.
So we do see that. We can show companies where, and even more than that, if you incorporate applicant tracking system data, so you start looking at the data footprint from the moment of interviews, and you can learn who are my strong interviewers, that if they took part in the interviewing process, the people that they hired stick longer, right? Yeah, and also where in my company do managers lose people? And that too is something that we can see in the data. By the way, not to say that this is a bad manager that should be fired. This is a manager that probably needs some help. And here is some personalized leadership coaching program, because we know for that specific manager what kind of specific issues their people are struggling with.
Well, and actually, that's what I love about Simon Sinek's article they did on your website around this concept of should you work on the weekends or not, and of course Simon's starting with this mindset of, well, of course we have to have balance and you shouldn't work on the weekends, and almost kind of making this mandate. And I again am one that, similar to Simon, share the ADHD superpower, and that some days during the day I don't want to work, and that I feel guilty, and that I feel like I need to work on the weekend, and I feel better after I do work on the weekend, and like, why should that be a bad thing? Because I took time off during the week, and it's this whole concept of a results oriented work environment, and that's okay, right? But it almost took him realizing that the policy that he had created based on his why was actually not aligned with the same why of others. So that was just such an aha moment for me.
And it was an aha moment for me too, and for many others. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What is results oriented work environment? What does that mean for construction, where maybe you do have, hyper performers that just, I don't know, that have no life and they just love this stuff. And if you know that about them, then fine. But, maybe there are others that want to put up that facade because they think that's what our industry is asking them to do. But really underneath, they don't feel that way, and they are, up against burnout. And like, how do you pull that out when they don't necessarily want to tell you up front? I think sounds like you're working on that.
So maybe just a word about that research. So first of all, it's an initial research that we've done with about data coming from about 7,000 employees from in that case I think it was 4 or 5 different companies, and some interesting findings, some surprising findings like this one that Simon wrote about, and we recently just had a webinar on some other findings. But I think the main conclusion that I had from this particular finding was that, and again, I'm taking it to the extreme, but as a manager, I want my people to be able to do whatever they want, and work as much as they want, and don't work, or work whenever they feel like working. Of course, that it has to be as long as we get to our goals and right, do whatever it is from a business perspective that we need to do. But in a high level, in a very conceptual kind of spiritual way, let them do whatever they want to do.